Gonna show you how to deploy a Node.js Express app in this video onto Blossom. We're gonna click on View Documentation right here, and under Quick Starts, there is a bunch. The one we're looking for is this one, Node.js Express. To deploy the application onto Blossom, all you have to do is create a Blossom account, and then you could go to Quick Starts actually, and you just choose the example Express app and click on Deploy. Pretty much that's it. Here is the Quick Starts on Blossom now. I'm on Blossom. And you click Configure and Deploy. What that does is it gives us a kind of quick start one form. So you do it all in one shot right here. You do have to create a cluster ahead of time here, and that's pretty easy. You just click your cloud provider of choice. I'm using Vercel in this case. And I'll show you the cluster actually. So here's the cluster. I create a demo cluster with one server on there. So you create a cluster, you add a server into that, and that's all kind of automated for you. And then you can go to Quick Start and click refresh here if you don't have a cluster yet. The app name gets pre-filled right here. The URL gets pre-filled. The source is right here. It's just a pretty simple Express app. You just come look at here and you see it's basically saying hello. Okay. Let's see what else. Container registry. So what Blossom does is it grabs your source code. It figures out what a language is using everything, and then builds a Docker image essentially with that. You do not, and I want to point out, you do not need a Docker file. So you can have a Docker file if you want, if you need really that level of customization, but you do not need to have one. It's all zero configuration there in that sense. So a Docker container registry is required to push the image, so all your servers can pull down this image that we push to. So I've already created one right here, and you can see it's just Docker Hub. Let me see, and I'm gonna go click Create App. So after the app's created, you can see this arrow that's bouncing up and down, indicating to us, please click me. It basically, you click that to start the deploy. So let's see, the deploy, here's the kind of parent log that shows what it's doing across a cluster of servers. In this case, there's only one server. But if you have multiple servers, it's actually SSHing to all these machines, depending on the roles, and then execute commands in parallel across them. And then in each of the logs, actually, they get separated onto different logs here. So you can actually jump into individual server log and see actually what's happening underneath the hood. So you can see if I screw up a little bit here, maybe uncheck watch. You can see it kind of logs in to the registry, then it clones down your repository, and then starts building the image essentially. Click on watch again. It takes a little time to kind of build the image, and then it starts pushing the image up. And then I'm gonna go back to parent app log here, because it looks like that's almost kind of done building. Once that's done building, it's gonna kind of go off to the next phase. I think that's the deploy phase. But while that's kind of going, oh, actually the deploy phase is right here. So you see it's actually going deploy phase and start streaming once that process kicks off here. And while that's actually going, you can see it's starting to deploy now into that server. It depends. You can actually have a separate build server, which I highly recommend because it actually takes a lot of computational resources in order to build Docker image. So I don't think you should be doing that on your app servers. But if you're budget conscientious, you can always do on one server. But be aware, it does take a lot of CPU resources and disk space actually. So it's something to be aware. I strongly recommend using a separate build server for your Docker building phase. And then it's going to deploy onto all your app servers essentially. Then once that happens, it's going to create a managed domain, which is just a short URL that's going to make your app accessible immediately. Then after that, it's going to deploy the load balancer tier. And I basically use a load balancer, web, and everything all in one server. So I assign the server all the same, all the roles. So because of that, it's going to be a very cheap way to kind of deploy this. You can actually even deploy multiple applications on the same server too, okay? So that's all complete now. We can kind of go to dashboard here. Now you click view app and you can see now the app has been not there yet. Sometimes maybe it takes a little time. So let me refresh. There you go. Okay, so that has been deployed now successfully. And you can see there's just some documentation links there. And then you can see here's a hello greeting generator here. And you can see echo service, hello world here again. So you echo the same message here. Okay, so the app has been deployed successfully. I did want to show you a couple things real quick. So when we did that quick start, all I did was kind of set up the public repository here, but you can hook up basically private repos too if you need. And then you could just change that. You could even use SSH keys. If you need to connect to your repository, you just basically, or your private repos, you can click connect provider here. If you connect to a private repository, then you can actually automatically trigger deploys by webhooks and everything. Registries here, this is the quick start. Had already connected this, but you always add another registry here and then you just update the app image that it deploys to. Databases, this Node.js Express app doesn't have one, but so we don't need it. An environment, if you need environments for you do that here. Last thing I want to kind of show is activity logs. That's actually kind of handy. This is just your app log streaming back to you actually. So you can go visit and then you can print out, debugging things to visit your app logs here. And it does take a little bit moment to spin up, but you can see it going there. Okay, and that is it. That's how you deploy a Node.js Express app onto Blossom.